Welcome Facebook Live. Scott Trembley, President and CEO of the Trembley Group, otherwise known as Crazy Coach T. And this is our wonderful team here. So we're so glad to have you. And today we're just going to have a little bit of fun, talk with the team about sort of the things they're doing, the stories that they're accomplishing with their clients, the lives they're changing. And you know, why our team is on track, really, by the end of this year, our average volume per agent will be 38, 40, 42 transactions each. So they're doing something different. You need to be different. So we're going to talk about some stories. And we're going to come out the gates with one of our beautiful ladies that has joined our team not too long ago. And we're going to share a home equity conversion mortgage story, a HECM story. Those of you that do not know about that program out there, it's a program that helps folks that are 62 and older basically pay around 50, 55, 60% of the purchase price for a home and never make another payment. And it is life changing. So if you don't know about that, you might look at the market that you're in, because you're in a market where about 50% of the folks are retirees. So it'd be a very, very good one to actually bring into your business. So on that account, Miss Jolie, welcome to Facebook Live. And
thank you so much, Scott.
Share with us the life-changing story you've had with the clients in your sales history that's done the home equity conversion mortgage.
Well, I had a gentleman who was looking for a home down here. He wanted a 55 and older community, so right away that kind of set off a little, flag in my head, like 55 and older. And we spoke a little bit, found out what he wanted, when he wanted to move here, which was right away. Then we got into the financial part. He says, I'm retired now, Jolie, and I've sold my home, and I really want a house that my wife and I had picked out a year ago, and she passed since then. And I really would like to go into the seasons. So fine, we found a few homes in there, went in and picked out the one that he loved, and he was ready to pay it all off. And that's when I brought up this option of this wonderful HECM loan, because he obviously was over 62, and it would have left a lot of cash for him just in case something, God forbid, happened. He would have something to fall back on or rely on. And when he heard that option, he almost said it was too good to be true. There's got to be a catch. I need to have my accountants look into this and my attorneys, because this is not true. So I connected him with this really great guy, Larry Reed, and who is a specialist in the HECM loans only. And sure enough, it worked out beautifully. We had him closed in about 35 days. He was in his home. I brought him a queen mattress so he could sleep for 3 days before his furniture got there. And he's been thanking me ever since. And it's worked out for other clients also in that same situation. It's just a great, great option.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, the HECM is just, it's crazy how it truly will just change a life. And in terms of retirees, their biggest fear is, funny enough, not death, it's running out of money.
Running out of money.
Yeah, and so this program gives them an incredible opportunity to get more of what they want and spend less and have more for retirement. So I know Jolie and I talked about that. Larry Reed, yeah, he is a pretty special guy.
Wonderful.
Super special guy. Larry Reed, his wife, have also done the HECM. So it's just an incredible program. It's life-changing. And you need to always be thinking about that. You need to always be asking questions to your customers to find out what their true desires are, what they're looking to accomplish, how you can best help them, what's their big why. And it's super, super, super important. All right, so the HECM's awesome. I need another story in the group. And the group knows if they don't bring one to me, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to actually go and pull somebody out of the group here. So who's up? Jeremy Jake's behind MP over there. Give us something.
Finally came up with the one I remembered that
Nice.
I wanted to share. So, it doesn't have to be about the HECM, right?
No. We start with the HECM.
This is the opposite side of the spectrum. That's why I
Perfect.
wanted to bring it up, because in our market's heavily retirees, so this isn't as typical. But I was working with some first-time home buyers. They were just the absolute sweetest couple, and they were kind of had done the Dave Ramsey plan and had been on a budget and were saving money for their down payment. Just the coolest young couple, and they had a little son. So they picked out a house in Murrells Inlet, and we negotiated as absolutely as best we could. We came back, had some kind of major repairs on it.
Yeah.
But they still wanted the house. They wanted to move forward. They wanted their dreams. And so we kept going and going and going, and ended up at the end where got them like an extra $1,600 credit from the seller that they hadn't expected.
Yeah.
Just got a lot of things repaired that they kind of went above and beyond. I probably talked to them every day for, like 60 days.
Yeah.
This all went on, but it was, I was just really happy for them, and very excited that they were able to get into that house and like make it all work, make all the numbers work, and used all of our partners. The mortgage went really well, and I think they, like at every step of the way, everybody kind of pulled together and got a great deal for them. So
Awesome.
that was a fun one.
That's pretty awesome. So you got the HECM, you got the first-time home buyers at both ends of the spectrum there, right?
Yep.
Which is the fun business that we're in. We're in the business of changing lives, and it's all over the spectrum. You're working with the public, you're working with all different ages, different mindsets and everything. So it's super, super fun. And you've got to slow down and ask great questions to understand so you can best serve, right? Super, super, super important. Somebody else give me a really cool story. Can be buy-in, selling, can be any end of the spectrum, honestly. Give me something. Andrew, you got one?
Yes, sir. I've been working with some clients. They recently relocated from New Jersey, already closed on their home there. They actually kind of came down here on a whim. They found something that they really loved.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward a little bit. We wanted to go out and about to show some homes, of course, one morning, and I picked up the wife at the motel, and she got into the vehicle, and I already feel something was just off, like there was something wrong.
Yes.
So I just turned to her and said, "Hey, is everything okay this morning?" And she turns to she said, "Oh my gosh, it's nothing with you, but I just had the worst morning ever." And I'm like, "Oh, tell me more about that."
Great question, right? Yes!
So she goes into this, I picked her up in Pawleys Island, and we went all the way, to Myrtle Beach near 501. So we had some time to converse, literally the whole ride up there to the first house. She was telling me about how the shower upstairs fell through,
Yes.
into her room. So she was dealing with, flooding and all that all morning. And
Yeah.
she was just saying how horrible the living conditions are, and she has a dog. And so one thing after another, we're viewing properties. They really like a couple of them. And on the way back to dropping her off, it came up again. So I said, "Hey, I had another client that came into town recently. It was like 2 weeks ago, and they stayed at a different hotel, and they absolutely loved it. I knew they had a pet with them, so I picked up my phone and I called this particular hotel, and I said, "Hey, do you have vacancies? Around how much would it cost for like a 30 to 45 day stay?"
Yeah.
They had vacancies, so I ended up getting them into this other hotel, and
Yeah.
everything worked out amazingly. They moved that night once the husband got off of work, so up and down, they just truly appreciated it. Of course, I felt bad. I'm just the person to want to help the situation.
Right.
So, and we're under contract, so they should be closing, the first week of August, roughly. So
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's super awesome, dude. That's 6-star service, right? Yeah. I remember you told me that one. Yeah. Like, tell me more about that. Oh my God, the fell through the roof.
I felt so bad. I was like, "Do you want to stay?"
How did
at
that
my
make you
house?"
feel?
I have 2 dogs, one more.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Dissatisfaction was through the roof, right? Yeah. Need to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
All right, somebody else. Bradley, you got a bunch of cells on the board over here, my friend. Yeah, I know you got something. Give me something.
Well, I guess we could talk about some clients have been coming down from North Carolina for a while, and they were really excited about buying a condo that they could live in when they retired about 3 or 4 years, and they were going to use it currently to use as a vacation home or investment property. So as we were looking at a few different places, we had narrowed down our list and found the one that they really wanted, but we just couldn't come to an agreement on price. So they were very frustrated through the negotiation, and just kind of recommend let's sit back and see how things go. And because we were patient and we waited, about 2 days later we got a call back from the seller who had decided that they could move the price a little bit more, and we were able to come to terms, and they'll be closing in about 3 weeks.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
So that's second home or primary residence?
It'll be second home for now, but it will be primary residence in about 3 or 4 years.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that's happening all the time in this market, the secondary home prior to a primary.
Yeah.
So if you don't realize that it is, and just always ask the question, folks see the value in making it happen now and changing their life and having something for the future, right? So you need to always know, tell me about your current home, and have you thought about purchasing prior to and making it a secondary home? That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Awesome month too, by the way. So we're gonna have another story here, but I'm gonna interject a couple questions here. You, on the board behind me, you may not see this on Facebook Live, it says your relationships will go where your questions flow. So if you're watching, you might want to write that down. Your relationships will go where your questions flow. When you're in this business, you need to ask better questions. The better questions you ask, the better information you'll gather. If you don't ask it, you won't get it. And I've got some basic questions on the board here that, look, I mean, when I was selling, I had questions like all over every side of my cubicles and what have you, everywhere, just trying to define and ask and learn more. But there's some basic things that you need to know, and you want to bring out emotions when you're asking questions too. And then you also want to get real. So these are simple. They've been life-changing for myself. I've seen it work for tons of agents, and it brings out the realest in conversations. The first one says, what will happen in your life if you do not sell this home or you do not purchase? What will happen in your life if you do not sell this home or you do not purchase? Now, when you ask that question, right, when you ask it, what's going to happen? So they're going to have a pro and con list. They're going to stay put. How's it going to feel to stay put? Where do you want to go? What's going to happen if you stay put, right? How's life going to be? What's going to change? Well, nothing's going to change. Well, how bad do you want to change? So it's going to bring out emotions and bring out good conversations, and you're going to want to have a list. You want to understand, like, what's going to happen if they don't. So the next one's simple, is the other side of it. So what's going to happen in your life if you do? And let me tell you something. Whenever you start asking these questions, what's going to happen if you don't? What's going to happen if you do? You'll start realizing how serious we are, how emotionally attached we are to where we are or where we're going, what the big why is and what we're doing. And then it'll be crystal clear for them and you if you're able to move this forward or gain some momentum of where you're headed, right? So what's going to happen if you do? What's going to happen if you don't? Trust me, ask those questions. You need to know that answer, right? And then I've been talking to my ISAs, our client care specialists, recently. A lot of times we get stuck in some of the basic questions, like what's your ideal time frame? So what I'm going to share with you is don't ask that question. Ask, how soon are you looking to be in your new home? So we want that, write that one down too. How soon are you looking to be in your new home? So now we've got an open-ended question that's asked very specifics, right? So now they say, well, you know what? I want to be in my new home as soon as my kids start college. Well, when exactly is that? And then they tell you, September the 1st. Now we've actually got, when you ask them, what's your ideal time frame? If you started there, you're still going to want to go with how soon you want to be in, but it's too broad, right? So how soon do you want to be? Now remember this, how soon do you want to be in your new home? Which means if they want to be in their new home 6 months from now and they're looking to buy new construction, they need to buy now, right? If they're looking to be in their home 60 days from now, they need to buy now, right? So you need to understand, like, how soon they really looking to be. If they're buying a second home, how soon are you looking to own, right? How soon are you actually looking to own and actually use your second home, right? Ask specifics. And then one thing I've talked to the whole team about always is when you're working with clients, buying or selling, and you're getting closer and you've built the relationship and you've built rapport and you've dug into it, what, if anything, will get in the way of you making this happen? You need to know. So you feel like you've got everything there and you're ready to go. What, if anything, is going to get in the way of you actually purchasing? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we have had a great relationship to this point. I've learned a lot about you. What, if anything, is going to get in the way of you selling this home? Is there anything that I've missed? Tell me about that. right? So 4 very powerful questions, and there's 4 million questions you can ask, so just keep asking. But think about open-ended, understand the why. In the open-ended, you can get specifics, and you'll win. Trust me, you'll win. All right, we're going to wrap up with one last story before we wrap up this Facebook Live. Hopefully you guys jot those down and use them in your business. Anybody got one last good story for me? You got to end on a powerful note here. Jessica, you're looking at me over here. You want to bring one?
Sure.
All right, Jessica will bring one. Finish strong.
I don't know if anybody else has run into this lately, but buyers that are building and closing costs and interfering with appraisals. I've had some appraisals coming back low, and Coach T and I talked about it, and I was getting super frustrated because it was causing some of my deals to fall through. So, in all his great wisdom, he told me, well, Jessica, on the next contract, why don't you just have it built in that if the appraisal comes back low, that the seller will drop the price to the appraisal price. So we find a new place for my client because, of course, that one falls through, and the seller won't come down. So we find a new home for him, and I'm like, oh God, I've got to ask this agent right now if he thinks that that's doable, because I was kind of nervous about that, but just presented it to him. His name's John Krill, super nice guy. I said, do you think that your client would be, agreeable to this? Yep, absolutely, no problem. So we were under contract within another 24 hours with the contingency, because my client had already spent money on a home inspection and everything else with the other transaction. So now we have a safety net built in,
Right.
that he's not going to lose on that end, and he feels really great about that. It was Carl Chiavara. And he
Yeah.
actually canceled his home inspection because he didn't want to have to go in with a home inspection and then end up losing out on the deal because the appraisal. And I was like, Carl, we're already covered there. So
Nice.
he was super excited about that. So I felt like that was a win, and I feel like that's a win that I'm going to take with me and do that from this point forward.
Continue to grow,
Yeah.
yeah. Because the cool thing about that is contingencies, I don't really like that word, but that contingency there is a win either way. Like you win or you win.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just winning, right? So everybody's winning. You either win at the price or you win at the price that it goes to. So really there's nothing getting in the way of that closing. They have agreed that we're going to sell it at this price or this price, whichever the appraisal comes in at, right? So it's a win. That's awesome. Good job there. Love it. All right. That's a wrap. Have an amazing day. Write your questions down. Use your questions. Go crush your business. And we'll see you again soon. Take care.